Okay, so let's dive into one of history's biggest mysteries, the Knights Templar and their legendary lost treasure. I mean, it's a story that's really captured imaginations for centuries. Historians, conspiracy theorists, treasure hunters, you name it.
It really is a story that, blends fact and fiction so well. I
Yeah.
mean, the Knights Templar were such a powerful force in the medieval world,
Right.
and the mystery of their downfall and, of course, the rumored treasure just makes them even more fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. We've got a stack of research here, articles, podcasts. There's even mention of a copper scroll with cryptic clues.
Oh, wow.
I have to say I'm hooked already.
Uh,
But before we get lost in all the theories, let's rewind to the beginning. Who exactly were the Knights Templar?
Okay, so picture this. It's the 12th century, the Crusades are in full swing. Jerusalem is this melting pot of pilgrims and soldiers and, opportunists. And in the middle of all of this, you have this small group of knights, and they take vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. They dedicate themselves to protecting Christian pilgrims on their journeys to the Holy Land.
Okay.
And these were the Knights Templar. They were founded around 1119.
So they start from these humble beginnings, guarding pilgrims, and then they somehow become bankers to kings.
Right.
That is quite the career path. How did that happen?
Well, their timing, it was impeccable. The Crusades had created this huge demand for moving money safely across, very long distances. Like imagine a wealthy pilgrim, right? They're traveling from, let's say, Paris to Jerusalem. If they're carrying a chest full of gold, that's going to make them a pretty big target for bandits.
Yeah, not exactly the safest way to travel.
Exactly. And that's where the Templars came in. With their military background and their strict code of conduct, they were the perfect solution. They stepped in and created a system where pilgrims could deposit their gold at a Templar, what they called preceptory in Europe, and receive like a coded document. And then when they got to Jerusalem, they could present this document at another Templar preceptory, and voila, their money safe and sound.
Wow.
It's basically the world's first banking system.
Amazing.
It totally revolutionized financial transactions in the medieval world.
Talk about innovation. I mean, they were warrior monks, A&D financial pioneers. That's impressive. No wonder they gained so much wealth and influence.
Yeah. And, their wealth wasn't just from banking. They were gifted land, they were exempt from taxes.
Oh, wow.
They even got donations from people who, really believed in their mission. And over time, they built up this incredible financial empire. They had estates, businesses, even a fleet of ships.
Which, as we know, can make you some powerful enemies.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think anyone embodies that better than King Philip I of France. Talk about bad blood.
Yeah.
He ordered the arrest of all the Templars in France on Friday, October 13th, 1307. I mean, talk about a bad omen.
Yeah, a date that's gone down in history. And, while Philip accused the Templars of all these terrible things, heresy, devil worship,
Right.
most historians believe that these charges, they were basically made up.
It does seem a little too convenient, right? Like a good excuse to eliminate a rival,
Right.
especially one that you owe a lot of money to.
Exactly. Philip was in serious debt to the Templars. And not only that, but their influence, it threatened his power. By getting rid of the order and taking all their stuff, he was solving his financial problems and, solidifying his power.
But here's the catch. When his agents raided the Templar strongholds, expecting to find all this treasure, their coffers were empty. The treasure, if it ever existed, was just gone.
Vanished. Poof.
And that's where the real mystery begins.
Right.
Where did it all go? Was it ever even real in the first place? It's this disappearance that's fueled centuries of speculation and treasure hunts and everything else.
Absolutely.
And speaking of treasure hunts, one location always seemed to pop up. Scotland. What's the connection there with the Templars? Scotland. Now, there's a place full of legends and mystery. Why do people think the Templar treasure ended up there?
Well, you see, the Templars had, strong connections to Scotland even before things went south in France.
Okay.
They found allies in the Scottish nobility who weren't exactly fans of King Philip either. And don't forget the timing right after the Templars were arrested in France. Boom, the Battle of Bannockburn happened.
Right, where the Scots, led by Robert the Bruce, defeated the English. Pretty legendary victory. Didn't the Templars fight alongside the Scots in that battle?
That's the theory. Some historians think that Templar knights, fleeing France, carrying their hidden treasure, decided to join the Scots in their fight for independence. And it's a compelling story, especially because some accounts of the battle mention warriors fighting in white with a red cross.
The Templar cult. Okay, yeah, I see why Scotland is such a popular theory for this treasure. But we got to talk about a place that's almost synonymous with Templar treasure, Oak Island. That whole island is a mystery. What makes it such a hotbed for these Templar theories?
Oak Island is like the treasure hunter's dream, or nightmare, depending on how you look at it, I guess.
Right.
This island, just off the coast of Nova Scotia in Canada, has been the focus of so much speculation and digging for centuries. It's like the Bermuda Triangle of treasure hunting.
Yeah. Mysterious symbols, booby-trapped tunnels, people digging for who knows how long. It's like something straight out of an adventure movie. But what links this island to the Knights Templar? That seems like a bigger leap than Scotland.
Yeah, you're right, it is. The theory basically hinges on the idea that the Templars, with their navy and, rumors of them having ancient maps and stuff, may have gone to the New World long before Columbus.
Whoa. So we're talking pre-Columbian contact now.
Yeah.
Okay, that just adds a whole other layer.
Right. So some believe that Oak Island was a possible hiding place for the Templar treasure, like they hid it there for safekeeping, or maybe it was even a base for them in the New World. It's definitely a tantalizing idea that's caught a lot of attention.
Especially with all those stories about the money pit.
Right.
What is the deal with that? Is it just a legend, or is there something actually buried there?
Ugh, the money pit. An enigma all on its own. You see, this pit was found in the late 1700s, and it's yielded some interesting clues. There are layers of logs placed at specific intervals, coconut fibers. There's even a stone with what some believe to be ancient symbols carved into it.
Get out.
But here's the thing. Every attempt to excavate it has been a bust.
Yeah, I've seen those documentaries where they run into these crazy flooding systems, like the pit was designed to protect itself from anyone trying to get in.
Exactly. And if those are booby traps, the engineering involved would have been incredibly advanced for that time period.
Right.
Which has led some to believe that whoever built the money pit, they had knowledge that was, let's just say, ahead of its time, knowledge that was maybe passed down from ancient times, or even, as some believe, from the Knights Templar themselves.
Okay, so we've got Scotland with its historical connections and Oak Island with its crazy mystery, both in the running for the Templar treasure's hiding place. But our research also mentioned something even more intriguing. Sacred relics.
Now, this is where we get into the really blurry area between history and myth, where it's hard to tell what's real and what's legend.
Right. You mean those rumors that the Templars had more than just gold and silver? That they had objects with, like, huge religious significance. Things like maybe even the Holy Grail.
Bingo. Some believe that during their time in Jerusalem, the Templars found something under the Temple Mount. Something so incredibly valuable, not just in terms of money, but spiritually too. And they say that this discovery changed the Templars. They were no longer just protectors, they were seekers now. Guardians of secrets that could shake the very foundation of power in medieval Europe.
Secrets that would get them into some big trouble if the wrong people found out.
Oh yeah, big time. Think about it. If the Templars really did have relics like the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, or, any other number of sacred objects, we're not just talking about wealth anymore. We're talking about spiritual authority, a power that could rival the Pope himself.
So they went from bankers to, in the eyes of the church, potential heretics.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous game they were playing.
You can say that again. And their downfall, orchestrated by King Philip, but maybe because of these rumors of hidden relics, just adds another layer to all of this. Did these objects play a role in their persecution? Were they part of the treasure that disappeared? These are questions that still fascinate people today. And then there's Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Templars, sentenced to death by King Philip. But from his execution pyre, he supposedly cursed the king and the pope.
Yeah.
A chilling story, whether you believe in curses or not. Legend says that both Philip and Pope Clement V died within a year of de Molay's execution. And it just fuels this idea that the Templars had some kind of knowledge, some power that went beyond the material world.
Definitely a dramatic end to a dramatic story. But even with all the curses and legends, there are still so many unanswered questions about this Templar treasure. I mean, where do we even start trying to separate fact from fiction?
Well, I gotta say, the more we talk about the Knights Templar, the more it feels like we're uncovering all these secrets layer by layer.
It's true.
And speaking of secrets, our research mentioned a mysterious copper scroll that might have clues to the Templar treasure.
Oh, yeah. A copper scroll. That sounds like something straight out of Indiana Jones.
Right. It's a fascinating piece of the puzzle, and it takes us from medieval knights to the Dead Sea. But this isn't just any scroll. It's one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but it's very different.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What makes it so different?
Well, most of the Dead Sea Scrolls, they're religious texts, right? Theology, philosophy, that sort of thing. This copper scroll. Not interested in any of that. It's basically an inventory of treasure.
Wait, seriously? Like a list of treasure? What kind of treasure are we talking about here?
We're talking gold, silver, vessels, even some descriptions that are so cryptic that scholars have been trying to figure them out for decades. Imagine a treasure map, but without the map. Just a list of places and these really vague descriptions of what's hidden there.
Wow. It's like a real-life riddle leading to a fortune. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But how does this copper scroll connect back to the Templars? I mean, they weren't exactly hanging out by the Dead Sea, were they?
That's the million-dollar question. See, the scroll itself is probably centuries older than the Templars.
Okay.
But some people think that the Templars knew about it. Maybe they even had it at some point.
Interesting.
I mean, think about it. If you're known for your secrecy and you have influence all over the place, wouldn't you be interested in an ancient scroll that tells you where treasure is buried?
I know I would. But has anyone actually found any of the treasure from the copper scroll?
Not that we know of, no. The problem is the descriptions on the scroll are so cryptic. They use landmarks and geographical features that may not even exist anymore.
Oh.
Plus, there's a chance it's written in some kind of code. So that just adds a whole other level of difficulty.
A coded treasure map from, like, ancient times.
Yeah.
Talk about a mystery. It really makes you think about how many secrets are still out there just waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. And it just shows you how powerful this Templar legend really is. It's captivating, not just because of the treasure itself, but because of the questions it raises about history, about power, about the possibility of hidden truths that we don't know about.
You know, it's funny. We started by looking for lost treasure, but we ended up finding something much bigger. Intrigue, mystery. From the battlefields of Scotland to the mysteries of Oak Island. From ancient relics to this coded scroll, the Knights Templar have left their mark on history, even if we never find their treasure.
I think that's what's so great about it. Maybe the real treasure isn't a chest full of gold, but the journey itself, the thrill of the chase, you know. The pursuit of knowledge and a good mystery never hurt anyone.
Well said. And who knows, maybe someday someone will crack the code of that copper scroll. Or maybe they'll stumble upon the Templar treasure and rewrite history as we know it.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Until then, we'll keep exploring, we'll keep asking questions, and we'll keep searching for those hidden truths that are out there.
That's what it's all about.
So, to all our listeners out there, next time you hear about the Knights Templar, just remember, it's not just a story about lost treasure. It's a reminder that history is full of mysteries, that there's always more to learn, and sometimes the greatest treasure is the search itself.